Welcome to the Epoxy Business Podcast. Proud member of the Woodpreneur Network, home of the #1 podcast in the wood industry. I'm Steve from Acres of Timber and Woodpreneur Life, and along with my co-host Jake from Ol Loggin Sawmill, we'll be diving into the world of resin and epoxy every week. If you're a maker or wood entrepreneur interested in learning the ins and outs of the epoxy business, this is the place for you. Thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoy this episode. The Epoxy Business Podcast is proudly sponsored by Ol Loggin Epoxy, the premier epoxy and resin system for professional makers and wood business owners. Making exceptional products starts with the right tools and materials. Visit ollogginepoxy.com today and find out how to take your projects to the next level. Once again, that's ollogginepoxy.com. Hey, welcome back to a brand new episode of the Epoxy Business Podcast. I'm your host, Steve.
Hey, this is Jake.
Today's guest, we have Kevin Patanella, who's an epoxy artist and ambassador, a friend of Ol Loggin Epoxy. Kevin, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good, you know. Getting out of the heat right now is kind of nice, so.
Cool.
Oh, I bet you're up in upstate New York, ain't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
What's it like over there right now?
Yeah, I'm in New York. It's about 90.
Oh, okay.
So it's 90 and muggy. We get screwed over because it's always muggy. You know, it's not a dry heat like a lot of states get. We just get, you know, it feels like it's 115 out when it's only 70 or something, you know.
Yeah.
I understand
Cool.
that all too.
Hey, so Kevin, why don't you tell us about your business?
Well, like many, I feel like I got pushed into starting something because of COVID, you know. I was working in masonry as a laborer, and we were put on hold for 6 months, and that's before they started giving you know, helping everyone out. And I've got, well, and soon to be 8-year-old, she'll be 8 on the 6th. And it's just my father's a framer. He's about to retire, and so I grew up with the tools, but I really don't have the attention span, I guess you could say, to start a house and frame it out and leave. I want to do little projects, knock them out, you know. And so I basically started with his old tools. I had a table saw, a circular saw, and you know, a belt sander and an orbital. That's all I had.
And then you started working with that right away?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, nice. I saw that skateboard for your daughter. Was that skateboard you did for your daughter just recently?
The skateboard was for my middle niece. Now all my parents' grandkids have one. I made my first one last year around my birthday. And Delia's birthday is in July, and she's like, I want one. So she got hers last year. And then James, I couldn't think of anything for him for Christmas, and he had mentioned a skateboard. So I went ahead and did him. That was the skateboard at Christmas time that I did.
Oh, that's cool.
The pink one that I did the first like reaction video was actually the youngest niece, and that was Juliana. And that was a nice spalted maple pink skateboard. And then Jossie just got hers, and her birthday is actually on Flag Day, and that's how she chose the colors.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah,
she did the floor with me. She put the glow stones in. So with the red, white, and blue, it's got, I think, 8 glow stones going through it. So when the lights go out, it literally looks like the flag because you can see them going through. You know,
and they hold up. The skateboards hold up with the epoxy. Now, I've always wondered about that.
I mean, yeah.
For the most part.
And I guarantee you, my daughter, she's just like me. She'll forget things, and it sat outside for a while, and it's still going strong. So.
Oh wow! What a trip!
That's cool. What is it about epoxy that drew you to it, and how did you start to like generate some income with the epoxy?
Well, see, I was a chef I was in the kitchen for probably close to 18 years, you know, executive chef, sous chef. probably for the past 5, going between restaurants. And I'm not with my daughter's mother, so I decided I was getting her on weekends. And anyone that's ever worked in that business knows you can't say, oh, I want Saturdays and Sundays off.
Yeah.
So I had to make a choice. And like I said, luckily my father owns his own company. So in between finding what was going to be next, which I do a lot of times, is I'll go work for him for a while and then, go on to the new job.
Yeah.
So you're basically saying epoxy is like being a chef because you're mixing stuff.
When you're working in high-end restaurants and, the plating has to be perfect, your presentation, the colors and everything.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense.
So and it's just like, having the server drop off a plate that looks like it costs $300 and the people are ecstatic. It's the same thing when you ship out a new table or a new board or something. Just to see the reactions is worth it to me. But I mean, obviously, you got to make money too. So
yeah. That's important.
Yeah.
I'm sure you tested a lot of epoxy brands. What's the making of a good epoxy brand for you as a sort of epoxy artist?
Well, as Jake knows, I was with Chemtech before, and they were great at first. All the product was great, and they stood by it. And you can order certain projects or certain product for certain projects if you're not linked up with someone, and you can work with it. To me, the most important thing is just being the same, consistent.
Yeah.
So I can pour the art resin at, say, a 1/2 inch. I know we're not supposed to, but and I get consistent results every time. I can do a clear pour with it at a 1/2 inch, and I know what I'm getting out of it. And then cure time is huge for me because I'm working in a shop that is out in the middle of the country, and I get barn swallows in there. You'll get little critters running on the floor, So I can't do a cure time of something that's going to take, 18 hours to tack up. That's one thing I love about the Loggin too is I've had stuff rock solid in 15 hours and not even worried.
That's crazy.
We've been pushing the art. You said you're not supposed to do a 1/2 inch. I've been pushing for 1 1/4 inch and making.
Oh, I've been doing that since I got the first samples from you. I was pushing it because the first few projects, if I'm trying out a new product, I push it on purpose because I want to know what is going to happen, how it's going to happen. And, I don't get out the heat gun or the, thermometer like you guys do, but I know how hot it is, in the building.
Keep it cool. You know how to cool it down and keep it cool. Yeah, that's the game changer for art resin is being able to pour it one day and next day work on it.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually poured the art resin, pushing it more than I wanted, or I normally would, because I wanted to get a crack in it, because I wanted to do a design in it. It never showed up. So, oh well, too good of a product.
Dang. That's great.
Could you talk about your what product services are you doing?
I mean,
KP
honestly,
Rustic Design.
It all started with because I love the look of Live Edge. So, I want to do coffee tables and stuff like that. And now it's a lot of countertops, a lot of coffee tables, and, the skateboards and the guitar that I've done for family. But, I mean, I like to have different types of projects going on because
that's your mindset.
I'm the type of person that'll look over in the shop and be like, ooh, that would look good for this. And I'll just start doing it. And then I'll go back to the other thing. Or if you are, working with the art resin or doing a deep pour and you got to be back there for a while, it's nice to be doing more than one thing, but make it not the same type of product, but something a little bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you
guitar. I want to do a guitar like that too. I've been seeing a couple of you guys doing those guitars, and that looks pretty cool. Was it just a mold? Is it just a guitar mold that you're doing?
You can buy guitar molds, but as we all know, you always put on a little extra.
Yeah.
When you're making something. So, I mean, I very well could just make a rectangular mold, trace it out, and then cut it.
Nice.
But I like to give it a little bit of a shape.
Yeah.
The last one, I literally just made the mold out of Tyvek tape and HVAC tape, and poured it.
Just out of tape.
It's
you made a mold
out of tape and 1/4-inch plywood. Yeah.
Nice.
And I have my HDP mold and everything, but sometimes I just like to trace something and go, so it makes it easier.
Hey, Kevin, one more question. What do you wish that we could do more of? Because I know you're part of the family. You like us. You stuck by us.
Yeah, no, definitely.
We appreciate that.
More
you know what I mean? Yeah. What do you want more from Ol Loggin Epoxy or for us? Like, what could we be doing better? Jake, this is a good question.
I mean, honestly, the marketing's great. The fact that, I mean, you can't buy the Bills of Super Bowl, can you?
No. Oh man. Yeah.
That'd be nice.
That'd be nice. Yeah.
It could be our year. No, but honestly, it's you guys have put more into helping us get, like, when you put up your little banners with content that I made that you pass on and someone else gets to see it. Not only does it make you guys, or it gives like ideas for other people that are going to buy your product. I love the fact that when I repost it, it's like, hey, look at these guys, and they think that, this is something worth showing. So really, I mean, honestly, I think everything's great.
Good.
Maybe I honestly, I couldn't really think of anything. I mean, if I was a beginner, I could walk in, or I could send you a message. Hey, I want to make a charcuterie board and I want to purchase everything from you to do it. I could do it, which is great because you're getting people started on your product. And from the beginning, like I said, consistency is huge. Every batch I've gotten has been great. I haven't had a problem. And we've got distributors close enough that I ordered from Ohio yesterday and it's going to be here tomorrow, which is amazing because my daughter's birthday is on the 6th.
So you got to get to pouring. Get to pouring. Cool. So how can people follow you? What's your Instagram? Do you have a website?
No, the website still, finances are coming along for that. Just because if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. I'm going to hire someone like you. I'm not going to, because as you have seen.
That's right. That's a good. They're going to hire somebody like you, Steve. You hear that?
I'm going to, I'll have typos in my posts and everything. So like I said, I don't have the attention span, and I'd rather be in the shop working or spending time with Delia.
Which is it KP_Rustic Design, right? That's how people can get in touch?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, look up Kevin Patanella. Does great work and pushing the bounds of creativity with our product, and we're super excited and very, very grateful that you're part of the Ol Loggin Epoxy family. So thank you so much, man.
It's been a year now. That's crazy.
I know. Year went by pretty fast. So yeah, man, you're OG. Thank you so much, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin.
Hope you enjoyed today's episode of the Epoxy Business Podcast, proudly sponsored by Ol Loggin Epoxy. Make sure you subscribe and follow us so you don't miss the next episode. For more information on other offerings from the Woodpreneur Network, you can check out woodpreneurlife.com. We'll see you next week.